The goal of this lesson is to help you upgrade your skills with problem solving. We're more so specifically looking at upgrading our skills with identifying the needs of the product or problem. Of course, in our design type classes here, we're more so thinking about like product design, but this type of method that we're going to use, you can really use for a lot of different situations or any kind of problem solving really. But again, we're more design focused here. So why should we even identify the needs of the product or the problem? Why should we identify the needs before we even go in the workshop and start building stuff or even start drawing stuff? Well, here's kind of our main reasons why. It really helps us see the big picture. Like, what are we really trying to solve? It helps us kind of organize our thoughts and really understand our problem. And it takes our problem, which most of the times when we're designing something or designing a product or have to solve a problem, a lot of times that's like a big idea or a big thing that can be broken up into smaller parts. So by identifying the needs, it's kind of in a way we can break that big problem up into smaller chunks, and some of those smaller chunks can even be broken up into even smaller chunks, which then make the project much more reasonable to solve. Make sure you have a piece of paper or your notebook for class. We are going to record some things and you are going to practice as well. So think about this product right here, Ski Golf. Imagine you're standing at like this long green kind of carpet thing and use a golf putter, hit the golf ball, goes up a ramp, ball kind of goes in the air a little bit, and then it can land in a target. So if you've ever played skee ball where you're rolling the ball and it lands in targets, well, now we're combining skee ball and golf. So imagine this product. Imagine if you were designing ski golf. I want you to think about, well, what are the needs of making a product like ski golf? What might be the needs? Before we really dive in and think about that, we can let's break up the needs into a couple different categories. The first thing we really want to identify whenever we're designing a product is to really think about and identify what is the main purpose of the product. What's the main goal? What does it need to do? Another important thing to do is then think about the additional features. Another important thing to do is then think about, okay, well, what are the other limitations that are being put on our design? So I want you to just think about this, take about 2 minutes. I want you to jot down a couple ideas on your paper here. Some thoughts here. What's the main goal or purpose? What are the additional features? And what would be the main limitations? What's important is that you tried. We're going to go through some examples that I came up with. This is not a fully complete list. This is just some examples. I'm trying to get some of the main examples here for you. Let's start with the main goal of the product. So here's what I identified as the main goal of the product. The ski golf product needs to be a fun game where a player uses a golf club to hit a golf ball up a ramp into different targets worth different points. This sentence has a whole bunch of really different important parts which I underlined. So of course, well, first of all, it should be fun. Golf ball is going to go up a ramp, so now we're talking about we need a ramp type thing. There should be different targets, and those targets should be worth different points. So that's what I would argue would be our main goal of that product. Now, if we move down to additional features, you could come up with even more than I have here, but here's a couple main things that I was thinking of. You really should have some sort of way to keep track of score. That would be important. And that would be a feature, meaning like an additional thing that product does or an additional ability. Really should have a way for the ball to come back to you. So on the picture here, you can see that there's like a track that the ball can kind of come back. So it'd be nice to have the ball automatically return to you. The product should be easily stored and portable. Maybe it can fold or something like that, it comes apart. And then here's another important need, additional feature, is that the ball should be contained somehow in the product. The ball just shouldn't go flying. If I hit it too hard, it shouldn't go crazy far or flying out of the product. That wouldn't be good. So these are kind of like our main needs here. And then now whenever we're designing, we're going to have limitations. Here are some examples of limitations of this product if we're designing. Size. Maybe somebody said to you, hey, we can only have this thing be so long. It can be no longer than 10 feet, so you can make it 9 feet, you can make it 8 feet, you can't make it 11 feet. It can be no wider than 3 feet, no taller than 2 feet. So size is a very common limitation. The type of materials is also a very, very common limitation. For example, for a lot of our projects, we're not going to be using like metal and welding. That's usually not an option for us. So materials of this product mainly be out of wood. Here's another limitation. It really should look nice. It should be safe. It should be durable. Durable means not easy to break. Cost is something else we have to consider as well. I'm just going to scroll up so we can see this easier. So this orange stuff, the reason why I put those as orange, because those are like super very common things. Another thing is the game, it really shouldn't be too difficult, but it also shouldn't be too easy. That's something to think about game design, like making it a good game that's fun to play. The game must use standard size golf balls. So it's like, okay, well, I want to design this ski golf. Maybe I'm going to use a beach ball, or maybe I'm going to use a metal, heavy metal pinball, or so. No, you got to use golf balls. So that's like a limitation for this that we identified for ourselves. Here's another limitation. Maybe we're not allowed to use electricity. If we were allowed to use electricity, maybe the way that we got the ball back would be slightly different. But because we're identifying, we're saying, hey, no, you can't use electricity. That means, well, now we have to find a way to get the ball back, and we're probably just gonna have to use gravity to let the ball roll down. Another need for all of us is gonna be, of course, well, we need to finish it by the time class is done. We could get way more detailed and really dive in and identify a whole bunch of other types of needs or limitations. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I just want you to see that like we really could get way more detailed. Again, we right now together, we're just kind of starting here. This is our intro class and we're learning. So maybe we're not going to get this detailed, but if you want to try and be kind of more detailed like this, you're welcome to. Here's one kind of neat one I would point out. It's great when we can test our products. For example, let's say we play the game 100 times and we say 95 times out of 100, the ball will be returned properly. That's something we could actually test and we could take data on. Some other basic stuff is thinking about, okay, well, if it's a product you're going to sell, maybe you have a goal of what you could sell it for, how much it costs you to use. We could even get super detailed on and come up with needs, like we're breaking the problem up into smaller bits. We could even get super detailed about just how the scorekeeping method works. Like maybe the scorekeeping method, it shouldn't be something that easily falls off. It must range 0 to 10. It holds its position even if it's kind of like person kind of bumps into it or something, and it's able to reset in 3 seconds. So like I just want you to see here like how detailed and precise we can get. And usually the more detailed and precise we can get or more organized we are, usually the more successful we can be too. Here is my challenge for you. Now I want you to apply what you've learned here and practice identifying the needs for at least 2 different products as shown here. We have a life jacket, a waterproof boombox, a social media app like Snapchat, a dirt bike, earbuds, and a fluffy bowl chair. So my challenge for you right now is for at least 2 of these products to identify the needs. You need to identify the main goal. So write that out, the main goal of the product, what it's supposed to do, additional features that that product could or should have, and then some other main limitations related to that product. Keep in mind, again, the reason why we do this is we're trying to take a difficult thing. Like imagine designing a dirt bike. That's a lot of work if you were to design a dirt bike. But we want to break up problems into smaller bits. So that's my challenge to you. Identify the needs for at least 2 products, and then I'll have you, of course, show me how you did, and I'll give you some feedback.